माय चैनल डॉक्टर प्रेरणा फार्मा। नाउ मुझे पूरा यकीन है कि नीट पीजी की तैयारी बहुत ज़ोर शोरों से चल रही होगी और आप लोग कोई भी यू मस्ट नॉट बी लीविंग एनी स्टोन अनटर्न टू प्रिपेयर फॉर दिस एग्ज़ाम बिकॉज अ लॉट डिपेंड्स अपॉन दिस एग्ज़ाम। हमारी जो आगे का करियर है, विच एमडी और एमएस ब्रांच विल चूज़ एंड वो जो पर्टिकुलर ब्रांच होगी इट विल बी द थिंग दैट वी आर गोइंग टू डू फॉर आवर होल लाइफ। it is going to be our identity and it is very important। सिर्फ MBBS तो होना नहीं है, हमें डेफिनेटली ग्रेजुएशन करना है और उसके बाद फिर सुपर स्पेशलाइजेशन भी करना है। सो नीट PG 2025 just around the corner है and I'm sure you all must be studying really hard। So in this video I have brought the recap of NEET PG 2024 questions of pharmacology। Let's see them one by one and then we are going to understand the concept also behind the answer। Some questions are very easy, they are direct questions और कुछ questions होते हैं trick questions होते हैं, कुछ questions आपको confuse करने के लिए होते हैं, but अगर आपके concepts clear हैं then nothing in this world can confuse you। So let's start with this। Once we complete this video then I'm also going to bring a series of videos for NEET PG preparation in pharmacology, how to crack questions in pharmacology, and that is going to help you in improving your score tremendously। So let's start with the recap of 2024 paper। So students, starting with the pharmacology recap of NEET PG 2024, let's take all the questions one by one। The first question is, a 75-year-old female presented with urinary incontinence. She also had cognitive decline, dementia. Which of the following drug is useful for treating urinary incontinence? Now this is a trick question। See, urinary incontinence may usually we give either a sympathomimetic drug, that is mirabegron, or we have anticholinergics like solifenacin, derafenacin, but these are not given as an option here। The drugs that are given are tiotropium, ipratropium, tolterodine and telanzapine। Now out of all the 4 drugs, अब यहाँ पे आपको वो वाला फंडामेंटल अपनाना है, फंडामेंटल ऑफ एक्सक्लूजन। तो एक्सक्लूजन अप्लाई करोगे, टायोट्रोपियम, इप्राट्रोपियम तो यूज़ ही नहीं होती है इसमें। देन टेलेंजिपिन भी यूज़ नहीं होगी यूरिनरी इनकॉन्टिनेंस में। तो फिर हमारे पास जो ड्रग बचती है वो है टॉल्टेरोडिन, विच इज़ यूज्ड इन यूरिनरी इनकॉन्टिनेंस। साथ में टॉल्टेरोडिन थोड़ा सा डिमेंशिया भी करती है, लेकिन हियर वी डोंट हैव द ऑप्शन ऑफ mirabegron or solifenacin, derafenacin। So the best choice that is available in this question is tolterodine। Coming to the second question, what is the drug used for opium addiction maintenance therapy? Now out of all the given options here, buprenorphine is the drug which is used for opium addiction maintenance therapy, disulfiram, clonidine, calcium carbide not used। Now why they are used? Why is buprenorphine used? Because it is a partial opioid receptor agonist, and because of its partial agonistic activity it is less likely to cause euphoria as compared to full agonists like methadone or morphine। This reduces the likelihood of misuse or diversion in the case of opium addiction maintenance therapy। Next question, an elderly patient which is a known case of scleroderma, on examination right ventricular pressure was 70 to 80 millimeter mercury. Later on catheterization his pulmonary wedge capillary wedge pressure was 35. So what could be the treatment? Now here the diagnosis is pulmonary arterial hypertension, and in pulmonary arterial hypertension we use endothelin receptor blockers, which is bosentan। So this is a drug which is used basically used in treating pulmonary hypertension in adult and in children, and this is an endothelin receptor blocker। So by blocking this endothelin it reduces the vasoconstriction which is caused by endothelin and causes vasodilatation। Calcium channel blockers not used in PH, captopril, carboprostar not used। A hypertensive patient with chronic kidney disease having frequent attacks of renal colic, what is the diuretic used? Now as you understand from the question, renal colic है मतलब कि उसके stones हैं, stones बन रहे हैं, मतलब वहाँ पे कैल्शियम डिपॉजिट हो रहा है यूरिन में। So अब इनमें से कौन सा डायरेटिक है जो कि कैल्शियम डिपॉजिट नहीं करवाएगा या decreased calcium in the urine कराएगा? So that is a thiazide। Thiazide causes hypercalcemia means it causes increased calcium in the blood। Increased calcium in the blood means it does not cause increased calcium in the urine। So in a patient of kidney disease with a renal colic we are going to use hydrochlorothiazide as the diuretic। Lignocaine is used in a loading dose for treatment of arrhythmias. The loading dose depends upon which factor? It is a very simple question, and it is based on the pharmacokinetics. Now you have to remember the loading dose is always dependent on volume of distribution, while the maintenance dose always depends upon the clearance. So here, because it is asking loading dose कैसे depend करती है, so that is volume of distribution. इसमें बिल्कुल confuse होने वाली बात नहीं है. A patient who recently underwent surgery has complaints of nausea and vomiting. He was prescribed a drug called as Apritent. Now, what is Apritent? So here Apritent, इसमें देखो सिंपल सी बात है, अपने को पता होना चाहिए कि ये दवाई क्या है और कैसे है. Apritent basically it's an anti-emetic drug which is used to prevent nausea and vomiting caused by surgery and chemotherapy. Right, and this drug Apritent is an NK1 antagonist, right? So this is the answer. It is an antiemetic. It is a substance neurokinin 1 receptor antagonist, and it is indicated in the prevention of acute and delayed nausea and vomiting associated with cancer chemotherapy. Which of the following drugs should be used for treatment of hyperthyroidism in a pregnant female with 8 weeks of gestation? Now remember, इसमें methimazole and PTU. So propylthiouracil, it is the drug which is used, which can be used safely in a pregnant female in the first trimester of pregnancy if they are suffering from hyperthyroidism. So this is something you have to remember, that propylthiouracil is the drug of choice here. Now X is a GnRH analog which is FDA approved for the treatment of HIV associated lipodystrophy. So what is X? Now X here, a GnRH analog they are asking, which is approved for treatment in HIV associated lipodystrophy. The drug is tesamorelin. Tesamorelin is actually a GHRH, growth hormone related releasing hormone analog, and this reduces the abdominal fat deposition in patients who are having HIV associated lipodystrophy, and that is why it is given in these patients. Which of the following is an SNRI used for treatment of ADHD? अब जो दवाइयाँ लिखी है यहाँ पे इन्होंने मिथाइल फेनिडेट, मोडाफेनिल, रिबॉक्सिटिन, ये दवाइयाँ यूज़ होती हैं सारी ADHD में, पर यहाँ पे अब इन्होंने आपको पूछा है कि SNRI कौन सा है. सो SNRI देखो, हमने एक ड्रग पढ़ी है अटोमॉक्सिटिन विच इज़ एन SNRI. नाउ अटोमॉक्सिटिन से रिलेट करती हुई ड्रग है यहाँ पे रिबॉक्सिटिन. So riboxetin is the drug which is used for the treatment of, which is an SNRI used for the treatment of ADHD. मोडाफेनिल, methylphenidate ये SNRI नहीं है. Next question is drug dosing studies done in which phase of clinical trial? Now drug dosing is done in usually it is the answer, the correct answer is phase 2. Why it is phase 2? Why not phase 1? Because now in phase 1 of clinical trial, if you remember, the phase 1 is basically a safety phase, where the main fundamental or the main criteria of doing that phase is testing the drug in healthy volunteers and to assess the minimum effective dose and the maximum lethal dose. So that is the phase 1, assessing the initial safety and dosage. Now in phase 2, the dose that you have got from the healthy volunteers is then finally given into the patients. Again here that dose is given, and on that dose it is found out, it is seen whether there is any effectiveness or whether the drug is safe in that particular dose in the patients or not. So dosing study is mainly done now in the clinical trial on the patients in phase 2. A hypertensive patient started on a drug to control the BP. He has complaints of dry mouth, drowsiness, confusion, and still continues to take the drug. Now he has to travel abroad for work, forgets to take the medication. He then develops hypertensive emergency. Now identify the drug. Now this question is very easy, and let me tell you, it is a very favorite question of all the examiners. Here the patient is hypertensive, taking a drug, and has got complaint of drowsiness, confusion, etc. on taking the drug, but still takes it, and then he forgets. Now that means it's a drug withdrawal case. Now enalapril, atenolol, amlodipine, they do not cause such type of precipitation of hypertension on forgetting. The only drug that causes withdrawal symptoms or which presents with a hypertensive emergency on stopping the drug or on withdrawing suddenly is clonidine. So clonidine is the answer here. As we all know, clonidine is a alpha 2 receptor agonist, and it reduces the central sympathetic flow by alpha 2 receptor. It is an autoreceptor. It reduces the sympathetic secretion, and it reduces the sympathetic action, reduces the sympathetic flow that causes supersensitization of the receptors. And so when you stop clonidine, there's a sudden increased sympathetic flow and increased sympathetic drive, which causes rise in hypertension suddenly. The next question is, atropine is added to diphenoxylate for which of the following reason in the treatment of secretory diarrhea? Now the answer is very clear here. Atropine is added to diphenoxylate not for any clinical use, but because atropine, by its virtue of being an anticholinergic drug, produces various unpleasant effects like dry mouth, blurred vision, tachycardia, and so it basically reduces the abuse potential of diphenoxylate, which is used in the treatment of secretory diarrhea. Otherwise, atropine does not have any clinical effect. HIV patient developed fever, dry cough, diagnosed with TB. So now currently he is taking lamivudine, zidovudine, nevirapine. So which anti-TB drug will you change or will you not give? Very clear. Out of all the options that are given, rifampicin is the drug which is basically in a microsomal inducer, and so it causes a lot of interaction reactions. The patient is taking lamivudine, zidovudine, nevirapine. Nevirapine is also one drug which and rifampicin, they have got a lot of interactions. So in this case, rifampicin is the drug which we have to take. A patient of hypertriglyceridemia was started on medication. Now he then developed flushing, hyperglycemia, elevated liver enzymes. Again, we know that niacinamide is the drug which causes development of this kind of flushing and hyperglycemia, and that is because of its tendency to cause allergic reaction. Rosuvastatin, ezetimibe and fenofibrate do not cause this type of flushing reaction. A chronic alcoholic met with an accident and his blood level was high. He needs hospitalization and will be withheld from taking alcohol. So drugs used to manage the withdrawal symptoms. Now since he is going to develop withdrawal symptoms, which are mainly going to develop into some tremors and so mainly CNS disturbances will be there. So in such cases, the first drug or the initial drug which can be used to manage the withdrawal symptoms here is lorazepam. Methyl alcohol not, formepizole, it is basically used in methyl alcohol poisoning. Then buspirone is an anti-anxiety drug but not given here. So lorazepam is the drug of choice. A child was started on ciclesonide inhalational therapy for bronchial asthma. Now which statement is incorrect? Now ciclesonide is actually a prodrug and it goes inside, it doesn't have any effect in the larynx and the oral, and then once it reaches the lungs, it is then metabolized into a active metabolite, active drug. So the statement which is incorrect is that occurrence of oral candidiasis more as compared to inhalational steroids. That is wrong. The drug does not cause oral candidiasis more than other inhalational steroids. In fact, the oral candidiasis is very less. A patient on long-term sertraline therapy was additionally added amitriptyline, developed agitation, disorientation, seizures. Now, what is the best initial management? Now, see, this question basically is again a drug interaction question between sertraline and amitriptyline, and when you add sertraline to amitriptyline, then it reduces the metabolism of amitriptyline, causing its toxicity and side effects. So here again, now since the patient has developed agitation, disorientation, seizures, the first drug of choice that we have to give is lorazepam, and that is the drug you have to do. Cyproheptadine will not use here. A 2-year-old child presented to the emergency department with lethargy, difficulty in feeding, dehydration. ECG was given in this case. ECG, I couldn't take this. What is the next step for management? Now the ECG was actually a PSVT ECG. So the step for management is adenosine 0.1 milligram per kg. Remember the doses, it is not 0.2 milligram per kg, it is 1 milligram per kg. Then a patient has been diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome. She has complaints of diarrhea and lower abdominal pain. Which of the following drugs will have a direct spasmolytic effect? So please remember that if the patient has irritable bowel syndrome, then antispasmodic drugs, best drug to be used is dicyclomine. So dicyclomine by its anticholinergic property will reduce the peristaltic movements, will reduce the contractility in the intestinal tract, and will cause relaxation. The next question is which of the following drug when added with erythromycin can lead to torsades de pointes. अब ये बहुत पुराना क्वेश्चन है, ये मेरे ज़माने में भी पूछा जाता था. इनफैक्ट ये जो ड्रग्स हैं टर्फेनाडिन एंड एस्टेमिजोल विच यूज टू कॉज torsades de pointes on giving erythromycin are now banned also. They are not even used, but still they have asked it, तो यहाँ पे आंसर रहेगा estimazole. A female suffered head injury from road traffic accident. On examination, there is elevated intracranial pressure. Now, which diuretic is used? Now, here see, एक एक्सीडेंट हुआ है, रोड ट्रैफिक एक्सीडेंट है, देयर इज अ हेड इंजरी, देयर इज रेज्ड इंट्राक्रेनियल प्रेशर, दैट मीन्स देयर सम hematoma, some hemorrhage is there. Now which diuretic has to be used? Now here we have to use a drug which is very fast acting. So out of hydrochlorothiazide, mannitol, spironolactone, acetazolamide, we have mannitol, which is actually the fastest acting diuretic here. It's an osmotic diuretic and it will immediately reduce the hematoma, it will reduce the intracranial pressure also. Which drug is used to treat multiple myeloma? Which drug used to treat multiple myeloma causes reactivation of herpes zoster? So out of all the drugs here, see, all the drugs are used in case of multiple myeloma, but it is only bortezomib which causes reactivation of herpes zoster because it reduces the immunity, reduces the immune system, and thus causes activation or reactivation of herpes zoster in patients, susceptible patients. So students, मज़ा आया कि नहीं? मुझे तो बहुत मज़ा आया, और ये तो सिर्फ एक रिकैप था. ऐसे बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस हैं, देयर आर सो मेनी क्वेश्चंस, हंड्रेड्स ऑफ क्वेश्चंस इन फार्माकोलॉजी विच यू शुड गो थ्रू, विच यू शुड डू प्रैक्टिस, एंड डूइंग दीज MCQs, जितना MCQs करोगे इट इज़ गोइंग टू मेक अ डिफरेंस इन योर परफॉर्मेंस. दिन रात बस आप MCQs करो, इन पे आप अपना रिविजन जो है, अपना सिलेबस कंप्लीट करो, MCQs करो, पास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चंस को देखो, पास्ट ईयर टॉपिक्स को देखो. देर आर नॉट लॉट मैनी टॉपिक्स जिनमें से क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाते हैं. कई बार रिपीटेड क्वेश्चंस होते हैं, कई बार रिपीटेड टॉपिक्स होते हैं. सो यू नीड टू रियली परफेक्ट दोज क्वेश्चंस, दोज टॉपिक्स. BTR जो होता है बुरी तरह रटो. कुछ टॉपिक्स ऐसे भी होते हैं जहाँ आपको सिर्फ रटना है, क्योंकि आप समझने बैठोगे तो वो बहुत लंबा चलेगा, एंड कई बार नहीं भी समझ में आता है चीज़ें, तो आप उसे रटो फिर. तो ये सब चीज़ें ट्रिक्स हैं जो कि आपको हेल्प करेंगी एग्ज़ाम को क्रैक करने में. सो इन अपकमिंग वीडियोज़ वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस मोर MCQs. आई एम गोइंग टू टेक स्मॉल स्निपेट्स ऑल्सो ऑफ MCQs, एंड देन अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट आप बहुत सारे न्यूमोनिक्स होते हैं, बहुत सारे अदर तरीके होते हैं बाय विच यू कैन रिमेंबर द आंसर्स. बट द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग इज़ प्लीज़ कीप योर कॉन्सेप्ट्स बिल्कुल क्लियर. कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लियरिटी जितनी रहेगी आपकी, आप उतने ही अच्छे तरीके से फार्माकोलॉजी क्या, आप अपने मेडिसिन के सवाल भी अच्छे से आप आंसर कर सकते हो. सो ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर योर स्टडीज़. प्लीज़ वॉच माई चैनल, प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब टू माई चैनल, शेयर दिस विद योर कलीग्स, योर फ्रेंड्स, अदर स्टूडेंट्स हु आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर NEET PG, and your pharmacology other students also. And please write in the comment box what particular MCQ or what particular topic would you like to discuss. So we'll take MCQs system wise,